Bringing in Christian Whiton now. He's a former State Department senior advisor and author of the new book, Smart Power Between Diplomacy and War. Hi, Christian.
Hi, Arthel. How are you?
Good, good, good. Starting here on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad are these latest revelations?
As far as damage to U.S. national security, I give it a 7. There's a lot of false protesting going on here. Everyone knows that everyone spies on each other because around the world there's a huge difference between what politicians say and what they do, which is why we have to gather intelligence to understand what people's intentions really are. So, of course, a country is going to get upset if they find out that their head of state is having his or her communications monitored, but this is something that a lot of governments do.
But, you know, I was surprised, and you're the expert here, the personal cell phone of German Chancellor Angela Merkel, is that normal? Is that fair grounds?
I don't know if it's normal. President Obama says we are monitoring that now. It's unclear if we have in the past. Germany's an important country, though. You know, in the last decade, it was a different chancellor, but he not only opposed U.S. war plans, he worked against them and rallied other governments against us. So, you know, Germany also is an important economy, whether they bail out Greece or don't, whether they would bail out Spain if that became necessary or not. These matter to the United States, and frankly, it's better to know these things beforehand than after we read them in the news.
So you're saying a lot of false protesting going on. So, Christian, any component of the leaks and alleged wiretapping that might be considered irreparable for the U.S.?
I think there is a medium-term damage.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think there is a medium-term chance for damage because it's looking like we don't know how to keep secrets. This isn't the first incident. This is, the latest in a long line of incidents, starting with WikiLeaks, which you recall came in a few tranches, where it started with some video that was classified that leaked, and then ended with 200,000 cables, intelligence information, trusted sources, all of which was blown. And people are going to get the impression that the United States really can't keep secrets. Also, this latest revelation coming from Edward Snowden, the NSA contractor who stole information, disclosed it, and is currently in Moscow. There's no prospect for getting him back anytime soon, so this damaging drip, drip, drip may continue.
And is it going to affect the U.S. From a military standpoint, Christian?
I don't think so. You know, it's funny. The Germans and the French are the loudest protesters. Germans, right in their capital, Berlin, understand U.S. signals intelligence very well. There's an old NSA facility. It's disused, but during the Cold War, it's called Teufelsberg. You can still see it in Berlin, and it was critical to watching Russian signals intelligence, which is the technical term for sweeping up radio waves and other things like that. Countries, our allies, know that this is important, know it has to continue. They're going to protest. Also, you know, some of the people protesting France, it really is beyond the pale. France is one of the most aggressive intelligence collectors. And they don't just collect it for national security like we do. They steal business secrets and give it to their companies, which we do not do.
So then, in terms of damage control moving forward, what happens next?
The best is probably to say as little in public as possible. Customarily, we just say we don't talk about intelligence matters, and I'd say the White House is sticking to that, and that's probably a good idea. Germany, France, Mexico, Brazil saying they're going to take this to the UN General Assembly, that is probably a good sign because nothing ever really comes of that. The fact that France and Germany aren't taking this to a NATO venue to protest but just sending it to New York, probably a sign this isn't going to last all that much longer.
And then former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton already saying, listen, guys, keep in mind that this information that has been leaked, is in drips and drabs, like you said, and pieces, little pieces. So making us giving the impression that it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, I think she probably has an incentive to downplay it. Secretary Clinton knows firsthand because she, of course, would have been targeted not just by the Chinese and the Russians for intelligence collections, but also by the French and some of our allies, Israel, for example. This is something that's done, and frankly, if you're having a cell phone conversation, you're offering up radio waves that a foreign intelligence service would be stupid not to collect if you're in a position of power. Whether they can decrypt it is another issue. But anyone who handles classified intelligence knows that a cell phone is basically a microphone to the enemy.
Right, but let's say if you're not in a position of power. Last question here, Christian. You've got regular American people going, wait a minute, are they listening to our conversations? Every conversation I have, is it, fair game for the NSA?
It shouldn't be, and I think it's unfortunate the NSA is logging all of our calls. I think that goes beyond the intent of Congress in the Patriot Act, and it's something I'd hope Congress limits. And frankly, you could just have the phone companies keep the information. I'd trust them to keep it secure a lot more. Frankly, Ban the government.
Well, Christian, I have to go. I have a few more questions, but I am out of time. So, Christian Whiton, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.